What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and it's time for our Week 1 Upset Alert. So this is one of, I know, your favorite video series that we do. We've done it now for several years, where we look at 8 games that have a chance to be an upset. And again, I'm not picking all of these games to be upsets. If you're new here, we're just saying these are the most likely upsets to happen. And for it to be an upset, the spread has to be 4 points or more. And every video I do, pretty much, someone says, what about this game? What about that game? And then you look at the spread, and it's 3 or 3.5 or 2 or whatever. Spread has to be 4 points or more for it to be considered an upset. Week 1 this year, I know everyone talks about, well, we always have so many upsets week 1 every year. It's inevitable. We're going to have a bunch of upsets. This schedule this year, the week 1 schedule, it's not great, to be honest, if you look at some of the previous seasons. So I don't think we're going to see a ton of upsets. But it is week 1, and we don't know much about these teams. So we don't know anything about these teams as they are this year. So it could happen. We'll see. And if you're new here, normally, so what we do is we take 8 games. We pick those 8 games that we think are most likely to be upsets. And historically, in this series, an average of 2 of those 8 games turn out to be upsets every single time. We have had it go as high as, I think 5 of those games have been upsets before, and it is very rare that none of them are upsets. So we're almost guaranteed that at least one of these 8 games will be an upset. And I go from the least likely to most likely, in my opinion. So we'll start with the least likely upset of these 8 games. And we're going to start with Boise State, Washington. All right, this game is going to be on ABC, 3:30 Eastern Time. And you can see Washington favored by 14.5 points. Boise State is a team, though, that's coming into this season with some hype. They're one of the favorites in the Mountain West. I've seen them in some people's preseason top 25s. They were not in mine. But they do return a lot, especially on offense. They've got a really good run game. And they finished last year really hot. So this should be a pretty good Boise State team this year. But I believe this Washington team is legit. I know there are some out there that think maybe they're overrated. But I think they're legit. And I think they're going to be really good this year. And I think their offense is going to be tough to stop. And I don't think Boise State's defense is going to be able to stop them. So I don't see this one really happening. But there is enough there from Boise State to where this could be interesting. I think Washington has some areas where they may maybe have some concerns. They're not loaded at every single position. So if Washington turns the ball over or they, some things happen here, crazy things happen, you never know. Boise State could pull off the upset. But Washington favored by 2 touchdowns for a reason, and I don't really see them losing this game. Colorado TCU. Now this one's interesting. This one will be at noon Eastern Time on Fox. And you see the number there. TCU is favored by 20.5 points. And most people think that TCU is going to roll here. But you've got some out there, and I've seen it on videos. A lot of people thinking Colorado is going to win this game. Not just cover, but win this game. And I think there's just a lot of unpredictability with both of these teams. TCU has a lot of talent, but they lost a lot of key players. How are these new faces going to play here? How's this team going to come together? And for Colorado, it's a complete unknown. We just don't know how good they're going to be. We have no idea. I mean, you can evaluate the players and say, well, they look like they're pretty good here. They look like they're maybe have some areas of concern here. But until we see it all come together with this coaching staff, it's impossible. It's impossible to know. I don't think Colorado is going to be great right away, but maybe they are, and maybe they prove us wrong, at least those of us that think they're going to struggle. And so I think they have a shot in this game because I just don't know what's going to happen. And that's definitely one I think we should have on here. Upset alert potentially with the big noon kickoff game there on Fox. Next up, we've got Clemson versus Duke. This game will be at 8 o'clock Eastern Time on Monday night, Labor Day night. Clemson favored by 13. If you look at the talent on these two rosters, Clemson definitely has an advantage. If you look at the experience, I think Duke has an advantage. And Duke proved last year that they could play better than their talent level. I mean, they stepped up big time last year, and they were a good team. And I think they've got a shot in this game. They're playing at home. I think I mean, this is going to be like their Super Bowl. I mean, I think they've really hyped this game up all off season. I think the fans will come out. I think they'll be ready to compete in this one. You wonder, though, are they going to be overhyped? Are they going to be too hyped for this game? If they get hit in the mouth, or are they going to be like, wow, we really thought we had a chance in this game, and Clemson blows them out? You know, I could see this game going a number of different ways, but I do think Duke has a chance. So Clemson definitely on upset alert here for week 1. Oregon State at San Jose State, 3:30 Eastern time on CBS, and this will actually be on Sunday. Oregon State's favored by 17. This is an interesting game here. I'm not as high on Oregon State as some people. I know a lot of you have them as potential playoff contenders this year. I'm not quite that high. I think they're going to be good, but maybe not that good. And so you look at Oregon State, they're coming into this season with probably more hype than they've had in, I don't know, a long, long time, it feels like. But they've got some areas of concern. I don't think that they're loaded at every position and going to go out there and be a great team right away. San Jose State played USC pretty tough, and they've already played a game, and they're playing at home. So there's a lot here in favor of San Jose State, a lot of advantages, and I just think that number at 17 is pretty high. I think San Jose State has a chance to pull off a huge upset, and this would be the first upset that could potentially, kind of shake up the playoff race already. I mean, Oregon State's done if they lose this game. And so this is a big opportunity for San Jose State. And again, I liked a lot of what I saw from them against USC, their ability to run the football. It's going to be a good game. I wonder, though, about San Jose State's defense. Can they hold up against Oregon State's run game? That'll be, that's going to be the key. If they can hold up, and they're not going to stop them, but if they can at least slow them down a little bit, maybe they have a chance to pull off a big one. All right, how about Nebraska, Minnesota? This game will be at 8 o'clock Eastern time on Fox Thursday night. Boy, we're almost there. I cannot wait. 2 huge games on Thursday. Minnesota favored by 7 in this game. Expect probably a low-scoring game, and when you have a lower-scoring game, a turnover, a blocked punt, a special teams, a kickoff return, something like that could completely change these games. I expect a close game. I expect a pretty low-scoring game. Vegas agrees. 43.5 is the over-under, so we're not expecting a shootout by any means. Matt Rule's first game at Nebraska. Don't really know what to expect there. So just a lot of unknowns in this game, and I think it's one where anything can happen. You might see an upset here from Nebraska. A close game. Either team can win. All right, now let's go to Louisville, Georgia Tech. This will be a Friday night game. This will be in Atlanta, 7:30 Eastern time. And you see Louisville's favored by 7.5. This game will be on ESPN. So this is an interesting one here. I feel like Louisville's the better team, but they have a lot of new faces. And they have a new coaching staff. And how does it come together week 1? We'll have to wait and see. Georgia Tech, I think that this is a team that really finished last year with some momentum. I think that they've had a good offseason and will be ready this year to maybe make a bit of a jump. I've got them going to a bowl game, actually. And so playing in Atlanta, a lot of things to like here for Georgia Tech to potentially pull off an upset. When we did our simulation back in the summer and the one we just did this week, Georgia Tech won those. That may not mean anything, but I just think that there's a chance that the Yellow Jackets pull off the upset here. Louisville, the more talented team, but Georgia Tech, the team that they don't have all those new faces, and for Louisville, maybe it takes some time. We'll just have to wait and see. All right, Toledo versus Illinois. This game will be at 7:30 Eastern time, and this will be back to Saturday now. Illinois is favored by 9.5. This will be on the Big Ten Network. Now, this is just about Toledo being a good team. They're going to be a really good team out of the MAC. Offensively should be very good. DeQuan Finn back at quarterback. It's just going to be a good Toledo team. Illinois, I think, is the better team here at the line of scrimmage. They should be able to dominate, but can they slow down that spread attack from Toledo? I think there's a shot here that Toledo pulls off a big upset. All right, Florida, Utah, 8 o'clock Eastern time. One of my most likely upsets to happen here. This one will be on ESPN, of course. Thursday night, Utah favored by 6.5, and the reason why is Cam Rising. If he doesn't play, Florida absolutely has a shot in this game. They match up really well at the line of scrimmage. They've got maybe a speed advantage, not as much experience as Utah, And Graham Mertz at quarterback, how good's he going to be? You know, there are question marks here really for both teams. And so I just think that this is one that, again, if Cam Rising does not play, Florida could pull off an upset. And it'll be a big one. They beat them last year. Could they do it 2 straight years? We'll find out on Thursday night. So those are my 8 games that I think have the chance to be an upset here in week 1. I saw an interesting Cal versus North Texas. The spread was like 6.5. I don't see that one happening. I think Cal takes care of business in that game. There were some other games that were interesting, but none that I felt like deserved to be on this list. So I think those are the 8 games that have the biggest chance to be an upset here in week 1. I'd love to get your thoughts. Let me know who you think is going to be on, who should be on upset alert here in week 1. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more here on the SG1 Sports College Football Channel.